Hello and welcome to Strengthjournal Ep.19. Because the weather's nice, I thought I'd take you outside for the commentary. And I would like to talk about a certain topic. So on the background you're gonna see some training footage of my last push day, I think. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that as well. So today I'd like to give some advice, especially for beginners. So potentially, I think that a lot of beginners run into one issue, which is not that they don't know how to start or which program to start with, which exercises to do in the beginning, because I think there's a lot of information out there that they can choose from. So if you just type in YouTube, search for beginner exercise, beginner routines, you will find a lot of things. Of course, it can be a bit overwhelming. It can be a bit overwhelming in the beginning because there's so much, but typically you will find something. And as a beginner, it's also not that important that you have something optimal, quote unquote. You just have to start with something, and basically as a beginner you can make progress with a lot of things. The problem is, or the potential problem I think for a lot of beginners might be, that it's hard to put your training in perspective because you just started. So that's not really something that you can look back to and assess if you actually made progress or not. But if you look at that, it's actually not that true. So let's say you started 1 month ago. I assume that you were not born 1 month ago, so you probably had like a lifetime before that where you did something else. Maybe you didn't train at all, you did some other sports, or you just did something else, but you didn't do what you're doing now. So that's already progress, which means you already did something, you started something new, you started to work on yourself in some way or another. And that's already something that you can look back to. And something that you should be proud of, because now you're starting to train, starting to work on yourself, trying to improve yourself, which you didn't do before. Maybe before that you didn't do any sports at all, you were not active at all, and now you're doing something. So that's always something that you should be proud of. And yeah, so even if you think that you have nothing to look back to, you actually do have quite a lot to look back to, because it's all the lifetime before that where you didn't do what you're doing now, where you didn't pursue your goals that you're pursuing now. So I'm proud of you for that, definitely, and you should be too. So that's just something that I want to share, because I think for a lot of beginners it's just like hard to see their progress, because maybe like physically or like strength-wise, whatever you're trying to pursue right now, there is not really much progress yet because you didn't do a lot till now. But you always have to look like at your entire life, and then you will see actually a lot of progress. And even if in your case maybe you did something in the past but you kind of stopped that because for a certain reason, and now you're just returning that, I would say that's even like more impressive to me, because you stopped something at some point because it wasn't working out. So you could say you failed, or pick any word you like, and now you're returning to that even though it didn't work in the past. So I think that's quite impressive for me, that even though you failed at some point, you still want to give it another shot, even though you might have the psychological barrier or anything. For me personally, for example, I started in the past when I was like a kid. I didn't do any sports. I hated sports, especially also because of school. But I never liked sport, never liked being like active a lot. So I was basically just playing video games all day, eating shit, and yeah, I just wasn't active at all and didn't really like sports. But at some points I just started with running, so I got into that, and I just did that quite a lot. So at some point I think I was running every day, and yeah, I just started making progress with that. I lost a lot of weight because in my childhood was quite overweight, or just like, yeah, quite, you could say chubby, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to change that, so I started with running, and I did that and lost a lot of weight. And then after that I started with like strength training and everything else. But even though in the beginning I didn't like have like very good performance in running, and I never really ran for like the performance because I chased like a certain number or a certain time. I just ran because I felt good, I liked it, I enjoyed it, and it helped me get closer to my goals that I had. But even in the beginning, even though I might not have made progress like from day 1 of my new fitness journey to like day 10, for example, there was a lot of days before day 1 of my start of my fitness journey. So a lot of time where I didn't do anything. So I went from 0 to something. So I started to work on myself, which is nice. And I think that's like the case for everyone. So even though you think that you didn't make progress, or you're not making a lot of progress in the beginning, so probably the biggest progress that you will ever make in your life is actually from day one, where you start something new. Because before you didn't do that, and now all of a sudden you start with something, you try to get to a certain goal or any kind of pursuit. So that's just something I wanted to share. And yeah, so actually myself, I'm about to go for a run, and I just want to record this little commentary for the Strength Journal and just like give some advice that I think might help some people. If you like this video, and if that advice that I gave helped you in any way, even if it just like provoked some thoughts, I would highly appreciate if you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time. Much love. What kind of thought was that? Yeah, we're not gonna do that hard. Much love anyways. And I will see you on level 100. And yeah.